Hello there. My name is Floor Galaxy, but you can call me Floor. I'm extremely excited to finally start filming again. The reason why I wasn't really able to is just because I didn't actually find any good phone lots. And, there aren't any family members that need to upgrade their phone right now either. So, yeah, I've currently been left. No, not currently. I've been recently left in a bit of a stall. Until this phone lot, that is, because this phone lot costed $44 and it has 18 phones. Yes, I understand it's less than the 20 phone lot that was also $44, but stick with me. These are good. Anyways, this is entirely untested. Like, all of these are untested, so this is very, very uncharted territory for me. I've never done something like this. I'm a bit nervous, but some of these look really good, so maybe it's alright. Anyway, I'm already starting to see a few labels there. I don't know if you can catch them, but I can definitely catch them. Anyway, let's get started. Oh boy. Okay. What's this? Oh. Alrighty. So we're starting off with an all-view phone. Trying to power this thing on. Oh wait, it doesn't have a power button. Yeah, we'll test this thing later. It's got a neat phone case. It's for an L90 of some sort, so I'm assuming this was not meant. Yeah, it was meant for an LG L90. That's definitely not this phone. Alright, next up. Aha, we have a tiny Samsung on our hands. I'm curious because this wasn't in the lot. This is a Galaxy Pocket Neo, I think? Yeah, it's a Pocket Neo. This surely must have a battery. It feels like it has a battery. So the fact that it's not booting up, it's a little bit concerning to me. Anyway, next. Oh, I remember having this one a while ago. So this is the All-View A5 Smiley. Oh, okay, this does not have a battery. I can just tell that it doesn't. And that's fine. I can get a battery for it and test it out, but yeah. Oh, that's where the power button was. Whoops. Yeah. This is gonna be a bit of a pain to test. I guess there's maybe a reason why these were all untested. Why do we have just a bunch of phone cases? I was... Okay, cool. This thing. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Okay, this actually has a battery and it has the power button in place, so... You can sort of test it out. Well, alright, I guess we'll see later when I put these things on the charger. Another one that looks exactly the same. Oh, it doesn't have a power button. Whoops. Actually, because I can take off the back cover fairly easily. Oh, it's the A5 Quad. Okay. I mean, that explains why it's so similar to the A5 Smiley. Which, the A5 Smiley is a phone that I did used to have that I absolutely destroyed a few years ago for no good reason, because I didn't even upload the video. Anyway. Oh, this is another one of these. Except I think this one does have a battery. Yeah, it does. This one's also not powering on, which is a bit concerning. Again, I'll plug all of these in later, but so far, it's not looking good. And then we have another one of these. This may have a battery? No, it does not. Alright, so we have a stack of these and a stack of these in a Galaxy Pocket Neo. Alright, I'm assuming that this is where it actually gets good. Okay, this is a disaster. Thank goodness I did not order the phone lot for whatever this is. So this is a Microsoft Lumia of some sort of... I don't know what this is. And honestly, I don't think I'm looking to find out today. Oh gosh. It doesn't have a battery. It's a Nokia 735. Okay, I mean, I have a battery for this. I got this, yeah. This will be covered very soon. But anyway, until then, let's peel out the next phone. Hold on 1 second. Why do they have an All-View P6 Life? Another one of these that was absolutely not mentioned in this phone lot at all. Huh. I mean, that's pretty nice. I think this can work. It's in better condition than my phone, which is saying something about mine. Okay, this is destroyed. Mobistel. I have no idea how to pronounce it. I mean, because a lot of companies own themselves with Tel, I'm assuming that is Mobistel. Yeah, definitely gonna need to test this one out. It does have a battery, or at least seems to. Okay, this. So let's talk about this thing. This thing definitely does not have a battery, and I did not expect it to have a battery. This thing is a Galaxy J7 2015, and again, I do have batteries to test it out, but let's just check if there are any AMOLED cracks, and there's a crap ton. Okay, hold up, let me recheck. Yeah, these are AMOLED cracks. Okay, this thing is not gonna work then. Again, sorry if I sound sick, that's because I am. Still trying to get well from that. Okay, this is an HTC Desire of some sort. I don't know what this is. Okay, I was about to question again, like, is this another one of these phones where it just does not have the power button? Like, it seems to be a common theme around these phones, and it's kind of concerning. Anyway, I mean, just like all of these phones, it seems to not be doing anything. At least for now. Again, I understand that these are untested. Oh. I mean, this looks pretty nice. This is a black view. Yes, it's cracked, but not that badly. I'm assuming this at least has some signs of life. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I don't think this has a battery. Yeah, whatever. Oh, another one of these that I absolutely was not in the phone. This is a Qbot. I've never had one of these, but cool, I guess. Yeah, this thing is not powering on either. I think all of these are just dead, and that's why. What even? What is this? I'm confused. This thing is missing its power button again, except this one is unique because you don't even have the little button that you can use to power it on, so that's great. That's not going to be powered on at all then. Oh, it doesn't even have a battery. Yeah, there's no way we're going to test this one, unfortunately. Alright, oh boy. I'm already hating this. So this is an HTC One M8, and the reason why I hate it, the power button is gone on this one as well. What did I just say when I said this was a common theme among these phones? Like, I don't know why, it just genuinely annoys me so much. Oh gosh, the camera went out of focus. Anyway, next, the One M9. Okay. Okay. That's not great. I mean, I can hope that it boots up at least. Another one of these with no power button. Another. Hold on, let me just check. Yeah, it's another one of these. How many of these are out there with just no power button? Just no way to check whether these even work. This doesn't look to have cracks on it, so that's good at least. I think this will be okay to use for parts. And ironically, because this thing immediately just got peeled off, I think that I can use this for parts for my own 1M9, which was the whole point of buying these two, to be completely honest. I didn't really intend to use them, but yeah. These two are definitely going to be used for parts. The rest of them are going to be tested out to see if they work. But let's just peel out the last two. Okay, so this is a Redmi something. This looks good. This looks good. I'm surprised. This actually looks to be in good condition. Okay, I don't know what model this is at all. I believe it might be a Redmi 6A. And then there's this. There's the Ulefone. Oh snap, that one does not have a battery. Yeah, there's no way we can test that one out. I mean, it's gone pretty quickly, unlike most of my other phone lots. Just because I couldn't really check to see if any of these actually work, I'm just relying on them maybe working, and me having a battery for them and putting them on the charger. So, you know what I'm gonna do? Yep, that's right. I'm actually pulling out a charging port this time and trying to charge these phones. Hi, I have an update, and surprisingly enough, it's not actually from the next day. And that's honestly just because I was extremely disappointed with this phone lot. Now, I'll explain some things. Some really important things about this phone lot and why it worked out so terribly. But of course, first, let's look at exactly how badly it failed. Obviously, I am not showing the scenes where I tried to charge these phones because I don't think anyone actually wants to see me suffer for 40 minutes straight, and that's basically all that scene was. So, yeah, let's just move on and pretend that it never happened. We have the cases. Oh boy, it's bad when I have to talk about the cases first. I never had to do that before, but it seems I do now. So, both of these cases are for phones that are not in this lot at all, but I would actually legitimately like in my phone collection, the LG L90 and the Galaxy A5, respectively. I would love to have these in the collection, but I would definitely not want to sell them to anyone. I am definitely just keeping them for myself if I ever do get them, which is like a very low chance considering the massive blunder that this phone lot was. But considering that this phone lot had a massive blunder for one particular reason, I think I'll actually still be allowed to get the LG L90 if I can guarantee it to work. Now, despite what you may expect, not even the cases are safe from this trend of not working. This case was supposed to be for Galaxy Core 2, and this is just the price in our currency. It's translating to about $5 at most. So yeah, obviously I wouldn't mind using this case if it was actually good, but it's not. Every single bit of it has literally disintegrated, and it's breaking down into plastic, not into, but on my floor, and I don't want that. So I immediately put it back in the bag, and I am definitely throwing this out. There's no reason for me to keep this. There's no reason for me to keep this in this house. And another thing that I have no reason to keep in this house is this battery. This thing is bloated, and it's ripped to shreds. I don't want this. I don't want this here. It's a fire hazard, it's a poison hazard, it's every type of hazard possible. I mean, not every type of hazard possible. There's like natural hazards and radioactive hazards, but you get what I mean. It's like so many hazards at once. It's not worth keeping. I'm certainly throwing both of these out as soon as I finish filming this, because these two, especially this battery, scare me to have around. Anyway, now let's get into the phones, which are not any better. So, this is the Galaxy Pocket 2, and it's bad when this is actually a good starting note, because this thing boot loops. Yes, that's right. A good note in this phone lot is a phone that boot loops. And that's for two reasons. One, it's more expensive than the rest of the phones in this lot by a long shot. It costs about a quarter of this lot, which is still definitely not enough to make up for it though, so yeah. But besides that, it's really just useless. And I don't know, I guess it goes to show how much worse it gets from here. So this Pocket 2, yeah, unfortunately does not work. Then we have these three. They're the same thing, same back cover, same colors, same everything. These are Allview A5 Smileys. None of these have worked with a singular battery, with a singular charger. No matter what you did with them, they wouldn't work. So I am going to assume that they don't work. Next up we have the Allview A5 Easy, which was absolutely not easy to deal with at all. This is just A5s, different types of A5s. So this is the A5 Easy. Again, the irony of this name, because it's very hard to pull out the back, and it's very hard to actually deal with this thing at all. So the power button doesn't work, but the rest of the phone might. And I really say might in a very, very, very unconfident tone this time. Very unsure. Because you'll see immediately why a phone that I confidently thought was working was not working this entire time. So next up we have this. We have an all-view A5 quad. The first one being this one that boot loops. Yes, it's another one of these boot loopers. So boot loop, and doesn't have a power button. These three don't work at all. So we're already off to a terrible start. This. Be back. So this is an all-view. It is the other all-view A5 quad. This is the only good thing about this phone. That's the only good thing, the smooth animation. That's all. Nothing else is good about it. Everything else is terrible. So the thing is, this thing has app crashes. And not just any regular app crashes, but specifically app crashes that make sure that this phone does not work properly. It's a very similar issue to the Miria tablet, the Miria bubble tablet that used to boot loop a while ago. I somehow fixed the issue. It still has a ton of other issues, but whatever. This is basically that, except it doesn't boot loop. It's just keeping you in this other kind of looping chain of pain, because you think that you're getting further and further into the setup, but you're still on the same stage of the setup because you never actually got past it because it crashed every single time. So this thing is also completely non-working to me, even though I see the display powering up. And same goes for this, and for this, and for this. This is an HTC Desire something. The back case says it's a Desire 310, but I think it's a Desire 510. I don't know. If either of these answers are correct, let me know in the comments section. But yeah, this thing literally does not work. It boot loops. That's basically what it does. And yep, that's... I wish I could show it. No, I don't wish to show it, because that screen is going to be burning in my retinas forever. And that's not even because the screen is bad. It's literally the same screen as any other HTC phone that you've seen on this channel. It's just that it left me with so much hope, and then it stole it all away from me. Anyway, next we have this Microsoft Lumia something. I don't know what it is. It does not work. Then we have the Cubot 1S. Sort of works, but it boot loops. As per usual at this point, I swear. Anyway, next we have an all-view P6 Plus. Completely untestable. The buttons are just straight up stripped. It doesn't have a battery at all. And yeah, I just don't feel like it would work. Like, if you had to go to such an extent to make sure that it wasn't tested, or I don't even think there was an extent at all to go to make sure that this isn't tested. I feel like this just was sold as the shell it was received as, and like, I'm sorry, I was thinking into this way too much. Like, I was assuming like this person, like this poor seller, even received it as original. Like, no, I don't think they knew. I think they really just had they really just only had this for the P6 Plus, so yeah. Then we have the P6 Life, which is another can of worms. It actually seems to work, but the battery is extremely broken, and I think more importantly, the touchscreen does not work. So even though I would legitimately like to use this thing, it does not work. It is not usable at all. I mean, yes, maybe if I'm lucky, I can sell this for half the price of the slot. So maybe with these two phones, I can get a loan the 3/4 of the price of this lot, and then selling every single one of these basically would get me the rest of this. Which, I mean, a bit depressing, not gonna lie, but whatever. I don't like this, to be honest. Anyway, we have this 1M8. Oh wait, whoops, that was not the next one. Here's the phone that physically hurt me. Yes. Sorry, I'm gonna add context now. This thing pinched my finger, it shoved glass into my finger, it scratched my finger while I was just trying to test it. This is the sinus, and it's not written like sinus normally. It's written as CYNUS F5. That's the model number of this thing. And honestly, I don't care. It sounds like it would be named Sinus. Sorry, I meant it looks like it would be named Sinus. It has that attitude. Anyway, the HTC one I made again. These cracks are from the screen protector, not from the phone itself. But what concerns me about this is that this is completely cold when it's on the charger, and it has shown 0 signs of life. So that means that this is completely dead, like completely dead. When every single other HTC One M8 that I have isn't completely dead. So maybe I can actually swap this out with another One M8 that I have. I can maybe swap out the board from the one that's extremely cracked and finally get a working One M8. But I don't know. This, though, is actually sort of useful for parts. The screen protector is useless, but I don't care. The screen is in great condition, like actually great condition. And the rest of this is also in pretty good condition. So I do actually have reason to use this. And this 1M9, to be honest. These two are basically the only successful parts of this lot. And I kind of knew what I was going for with these anyway. I knew that these would be for parts. Because I already had so many 1M8s and 1M9s that I just wanted ones in better condition so I can swap out the parts and make mine in a better condition than they currently are. And I feel like it's going to work really well and really easily with this 1M9. So yeah, that's pretty neat. The rest of this lot, not so much. And these 4 phones showcases to why perfectly. So we have the Galaxy J7 2015, which is absolutely filthy, and you can see it on camera too. Yuck. Anyway, this thing does not work. It not only has a broken AMOLED, which you've already seen in the beginning of this video, but also, I tried to put a battery into this, and it did not power on at all. And the battery was sort of charged, too. Same goes for this Ulefone. It's cracked to bits, it doesn't have a battery, and when I did try to put in a battery, it refused to work. However, because it's less filthy and it doesn't have any corrosion inside, unlike this thing is very, very heavily corroded, and this is also very heavily corroded. But yeah, this one's fine, so I think it may just be untested instead of completely not working, similar to this, but I feel like I'm getting my hopes up too high for both of these. And now for these two. Also untested, but they actually look to be in sort of decent condition. I mean, this one anyway. This one, not. No, not at all. This thing has its screen peeling off. This thing has no battery. Someone removed the battery. The only thing that I have good about this is that it looks good. But yeah, that's about it for this thing. And honestly, would you guys like to see me do a drop test on this? Like, if you do, let me know in the comments section, and I will do it, because this thing is so useless that I would be willing to I'd be willing to do anything as long as it's fun and, not dangerous for me. I don't care about this phone. Anyway, this is the last one. This is the Redmi 6A, I believe. If this is bigger than the Redmi 6 Pro, then it's definitely not a 6A. Let me know what this Redmi actually is down in the comment section below, please. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, honestly, I don't have much to say about this. It doesn't work. It does show signs of life, but by signs of life, I mean that it heats up when it's put on the charger. Which, yeah, It is a sign of life, but it barely counts as one. So, was this phone lot worth it? No. Pretty obviously, no, too. So, let's talk about a few things in this. On one hand, I knew what I was looking for. These two phones for parts, and I got these two phones for parts. However, I was expecting at least one of these others to also work properly. I don't think asking for one of these phones to work is too much at all, right? Especially considering that it was advertised as some of these phones working just fine. Surprise, surprise, that was not true. None of these were that. And another thing, this phone law was advertised in the title as 4 parts, which fine, I get it. These two will be used for parts, maybe. However, how do you explain to me these 3, for example? Yes, I can use the screen, but these phones are so notoriously plagued with motherboard issues that I feel like this is almost more common than a fully working one of these phones. In fact, the only other phone that I saw being sold, the only other copy of these being sold for a good while here, was indeed non-functional. Then what do I do with these? Like, yeah, this, and that's it. Those are the ones that have like functional parts in them. The rest of these two actually only have cosmetic parts. I mean, actually, the one I made, I'm not sure if it has a working display, but I'm just assuming it does. I'm really just assuming it does, because the display looks to be good. However, looks can be deceiving. I had an S4 that also looked like it had a good display that immediately was not good. It was completely broken. But yeah, I'm gonna assume that because it's an LCD that this works fine. Anyway, that's not the problem here. There are no other functional parts for this. Like, yes, there are cosmetic parts. There are cosmetic parts from this. There are cosmetic parts from this. There are cosmetic parts from these 3. But the functional parts are coming from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phones. 7 phones. Maybe 8 if you count the 1M8. So you have 8 phones that actually have functional parts. 8 phones that are so out of the phones that are promised as for parts, you barely have less than half of these phones actually for parts. I find that advertising legitimately deceptive. I don't think it's enough for me to call it a scam, because I can actually make the money back with everything that I have here. It's not like a mystery box where you order these items, you don't know what you're getting, and you're just getting a pile of rocks, even though these are barely any more useful. I can actually sell these for the price that this phone lot was. Although it is not by a huge stretch, it's just that because some of these pricings on these phones are broken. That's really the only reason as to why I'm actually able to resell these properly. Still, if it wasn't for the broken ways of these being resold the several prices, I would not be able to remake the money off of this lot, and I would need to sell another one of my phones just to make sure that this lot was entirely covered for. So take some advice from me. Don't try to go for untested phone lots. If you do, then I have another piece of advice, and that is to look at a tiny list of the phones that they say work, like guaranteed work. If if that list of phones sounds satisfactory enough for you to buy that and the parts for the rest of those phones, then cool. If it doesn't, don't buy it. Don't buy it. And I've had these lists in several of my phone law videos before. From the very first phone law, which was arguably not worth it either, but because all of the phones were functional, for the most part, the J2 wasn't. But that phone law was still like all of the phones in there were functional. Then you have the other one, with the one for $44 with 20 phones. The one that still looked, the one that still had a tiny list of phones that worked. But despite that, we actually had a lot of these phones that worked, and a lot of these phones for legitimately useful parts. So one of the best lots that I've ever gotten, still highly praising that one. Then there's the third one that I got a few months ago. It was for $77 and it was with 40 phones. It had a much longer list of phones that worked because there were 40 in total. And yeah, that list was basically all of the phones that actually worked. But the rest of these were for really useful parts anyway, or they're just really fun to play around with anyway. These are not. And I definitely should have had a list of these phones to have at least one that fully works. Because then this whole situation would have been prevented. I wouldn't have bought this if I knew it wasn't for me. But I didn't. But I didn't know it wasn't for me because it was advertised as some of these phones work, without giving an actual definition of how they work. Anyway, in other words, this was a fail. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.